What's up? What's up? What is up? You know what it is. It's another Friday, another opportunity to get together and record the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. If you've never been here before, if you've never been a part of the experience that is the Ball Hog Sports Talk, we'll explain it to you just like this. When you hear that, sports, business, and entertainment collide, it is a bunch of businessmen getting together to discuss sports in an entertainment fashion. That's right, businessmen. But as the great philosopher Jay-Z said, I'm not just a businessman, I'm a business man. So it is what it is. It's time to get down to business. Here comes the Ball Hog Sports Talk. Fasten your seatbelt. Get you a nice, large cup of coffee. And make sure you're ready.
Hey, it's Patrick's Day. You can do what you want to drink.
St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, it don't have to be just coffee. You can pull something in that coffee. But no further ado, boys and girls, cats and mats, frogs and dogs, make sure that you pull your seat up close and listen to the experience that is the Ball Hog Sports Talk. With no further ado, let's go ahead and do it. I got to get it together since I'm producing it today. Let's go. Let's rock.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. And stay woke, because this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw, so come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go.
In the building once again it's on like we never even left. You know what it is, man. The whole crew is in the building that is going to be in the building today. My man ETP will not be here, so you got not all three of us, but you got enough. You got enough antics.
You got a quorum.
You got a quorum. There it is. I like that, man. That's a SAT word. You got a quorum to get this thing done, man. What's up with you, Big Flow Show? You know what it is, man. Oh, sorry. For those of you who don't know, from the mid-coast, although the middle coast, that's how you call it?
Middle coast.
Not east, not west, but the middle coast, from Windy City, from the area that in the winter you better avoid. Thou who shall be recognized and internationally, intergalactically known as, respected as the Big Flow Show. What's up, my brother?
Nothing, man. I'm just enjoying another Friday. Sorry, we had to move the time a little bit, squeeze some stuff in from other parts of life that unfortunately took precedent today. As you see, Bobby's witness protection. He still found a way to make sure he got to the show. Appreciate that. Real good in a nondescript location. I still got Biggie on my side checking me out. So I'm just looking forward to running my mouth for a little while, talk about some of these sports and everything else we talk about today.
Well, as you know, man, the Ball Hog Sports Talks where sports, business, and entertainment collide. Two businessmen today versus a few. We have two businessmen today getting together to discuss sports and doing it in an entertaining fashion. But we do it one way, rough, rugged, and raw. So let's hop right in, man. Let's get rough, rugged, and raw because it's time to get down to business. This week has been a very interesting week. It's been a very interesting week because on Friday, which was, on Thursday, rather, which was yesterday, we started this thing officially called March Madness. Today's episode is called Green March Sadness. Why? Because we are in green today. Today is St. Patty's Day. For those who don't know, my man, the Big Flow Show, and I are Black Irish. That's right. That means we black and we went to Notre Dame. That's Black Irish.
It's greenish.
You're greenish. You're in the darker green family. I went lighter green. All right. I got a Notre Dame hat. This is the day that, if you will recall, when we used to be back on campus, they had the green beer. They would dye the green beer. They would every place that you could go to on Notre Dame's campus and inside the South Bend, Indiana area celebrates. They celebrate vigorously St. Patty's Day. I got this thing here, my friend. Remember this thing right here? This thing here that thing there got us through a few situations. It is officially afternoon in
That's still breakfast in Chicago. I don't think that's not even on the brunch menu in Chicago, but you never know.
This is the last time that we're gonna be showing that bottle of you know what without getting some sponsorship. Holla at your boy, some of that Irish whiskey. But we going to treat it just like Irish whiskey. Come take a shot of what we got today. Because it's sports business entertainment. We got to hop into this March Madness thing because Thursday did not disappoint. Yes, I know we are competing with March Madness now. Yes, I know that some of the games are tipping off right now. Yes, I know that the entire country has ADD and we multitask. So while watching the game, come get you some of this Ball Hog Sports Talk. And let's start with what happened yesterday. The biggest upset in history to date included what was at that point the number 1 seeded Virginia Cavaliers, right? Cavaliers, right?
We start to forget about them when they start doing stuff like this.
Yeah, when they start doing it, they are forgettable. Virginia, that same Virginia team, that ACC team, that powerhouse is at it again. While they have had to date the largest upset ever in NCAA history, they felt as though that they could outdo themselves. Virginia went and lost to you know who it is. While I try to hide my New Jersey pride, sometimes it comes out. And today it came out.
Today, look at you.
I said it. I said it publicly. Okay. I got a little New Jersey pride right now. Because Princeton went down there and they little smart selves. They got a collective SAT score of 1 million. I mean, these some smart young men. They went out there and did the unthinkable and doubled down on what was the largest upset ever. I think Virginia, saying, hold my beer, said that we can outdo ourselves because they went and lost again. They went and lost to a Princeton team as a 4 seed, Princeton being the 13 seed. They lost again.
No, not Princeton. We got mixing that game with Arizona. We got something different. They lost.
Yeah. I got Arizona coming too. Does this just mean that Virginia as an institution they're known for coming up short? Because we call it Green March Sadness because the madness brings some tears for a lot of people. There's only going to be one ultimate champion. And I know that there were tears of joy in the conference championships. There were tears of joy on Selection Sunday. But now there's some other tears that are going to stream down these players' faces. And we saw that yesterday. To see those young men playing for Virginia and see their sadness, I got to be honest, because I'm a romantic at heart. I was sad for them. But madness, sadness, gladness, marches here. What's up with Virginia, man?
I just think this shows you when it comes to the tournament. First of all, you got to play the game, right? You got to go play the game. Second of all, the seedings are so goofy. You got playing games for the 11th seed. Like, why do I have a plan for the 11th seed, but then the 16th seed just gets an automatic bid? Because I got all these funny contracts. If you win the Iceberg League, you get an automatic bid, but you're a 16th seed. But then if you can finish third in Mountain West, then you got to play the third and this thing, and you're going to get the 11th seed. So it's kind of unfair. You see it, but you get people coming out there. They're looking at their bracket. We all did this. We get your son plays basketball. My son played basketball. You look at the bracket and you think, where's the real game here? Okay, when we win this one, we got this guy. These guys could lose here. We got to do this here. And you overlook somebody and you end up being talked about on Saturday or Friday morning is a talk show. The only thing that can help them right now is hoping somebody Purdue gets beat by I don't even know what the name of that team is. Purdue
they play FDU. Oh, stop playing that. They play a New Jersey team too. You better stop doing that. Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Maybe Jersey get lucky because my little Calcutta, I have them. So I hope they do something. They got a 26 points to play with.
There are, as of yesterday, right after the first day of play, there are only, and I'll mess up the actual number, but I think there's 0.003% of brackets that are still perfect. Those people don't know anything about basketball. Those people are the people that guess. My wife asked me yesterday, Infinite Wisdom, because she was filling out a bracket for her, I don't know what it's for, but she asked my son, hey, can you help me out with this? And we were on our way to the gym. I was like, we don't need to delay going to the gym for this. Just guess. Everybody who thinks they know something about basketball messes up their brackets because they overthink it. Just guess. The 0.003, and move the decimal as you will, but I'm close. Less than 1% of people that have their bracket perfect at this point absolutely guess. There's no one that picked those teams to win. And
my son's friend yesterday, my son graced us with his presence and came and watched the game with us yesterday. One of his friends had a perfect bracket except for one team, Arizona, who he had winning the championship.
Oh.
He got every other game.
Oh.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, you really don't have a bracket at that
It's
point. Go do
dead
something
now.
else. Go
It's
golf.
dead.
Go
You
golf.
know what though? You just get mentioned a lot in stories. Wait till you hear what happened to little Timmy. He had everything right.
I totally
Arizona.
messed that up. I'm sorry. I said that this is how you know that it's been a long morning already. As I'm trying, I said that it was Virginia who lost to Princeton. Sorry, I was ahead of
And when I
myself.
tried to correct you,
You did try to correct me, and I still talked right through you. I'm sorry.
You checked me.
I was so anxious about talking about. Now that you just mentioned it, I do realize that Virginia lost to Furman, and did so in classic fashion because it was the Virginia player basically threw the game away. And I'm not being conspiracy theorist when it comes to gambling in Vegas, but he threw the game away in terms of just throwing the ball away in the backcourt when they were only up by 2 points. So apologies for that. I don't know how I messed that up. And Furman, everyone had to ask where Furman was. It's in the Carolinas. I don't remember which Carolina it's in, but I do know that they are marching on. Princeton had a bigger upset. I'm sorry. Apologies for that. But go ahead. I digress. You were talking. I interrupted because I just realized that I totally messed it up. Apologies.
That's fantastic. I mean, in summation, I just think this is March Madness. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what team's going to come up. Again, everybody's checking you because it was.
I know. I didn't look at the comments yet. But
Glass,
I'm producing. I don't see the comments, y'all.
Glass,
I see the comments.
I tried to talk to him, and he slapped me. I said, I'll just take it.
It's just
He'll figure it out eventually, or you're going to have to convince him that Princeton played twice. They're the first
Princeton
played
twice. You knew I was going to eventually say that. Sorry.
One day. So, anyway.
Virginia lost to Furman. Let me correct myself, and we'll get to the Arizona.
But there's no way when Virginia got up that morning, they didn't have a scout report on Furman. They didn't know who their best shooter was. They didn't know what was going on.
They thought this was round of 32. Their scouting
was a quick walkthrough for the game on Saturday.
Right.
And now they're at the house. So bad, though. You know, because they when you lose this early, you get home to go to parties to watch the game. Like, you get to go to people's parties. They get drunk. Poor guy. Get back on campus.
And as I'm saying it, I'm thinking, man, that's a pretty high seed for Princeton to be a 13. But they weren't. Alas, they were a 15 seed.
15 seed.
And they played Arizona. Arizona, who has won championships. Arizona, who came in as a 2 seed.
Virginia's won championships more recently than Arizona.
They have. But Arizona this year, I thought, was the more formidable opponent. Arizona, you know, they were in discussions at one point as a 1 seed. And, you know, they came in as a 2 seed, but Arizona then loses to, drumroll please, my New Jersey squad of Princeton. So that is true. And those who did check me, I appreciate it. You give me the opportunity to say this. Like we ask every week, humbly, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anybody that you know, and please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and the podcast. Apologies for getting that wrong. We now have it right, but Princeton did advance. Whether they beat Virginia or, which I said incorrectly, or they beat Arizona, which they actually did, they're dancing on. The smart guys from Princeton, New Jersey, the guys that got a perfect score on the SAT, those guys are dancing on. And I think that's what makes March so amazing.
Fun fact, though, second year in a row, a 15 seed from New Jersey beats a 2 seed. There's only 4 of them. So now you realize if you play next year, if you're a 2 seed playing a 15 seed from New Jersey, be nervous. Be nervous. Right? I agree. You got a 25% chance that they're going to get you, and that's a better chance than you're supposed to. That's not why you got the seed. Avoid the seed. Denounce the seed.
Yeah.
Offer to be the 3 seed. Give it up. Because
we don't want that. We don't.
And then they're going to be tough. There's not much to talk about today except for that.
Yeah.
Don't be that. Don't get beat on a slow news day. Don't get
beat on a slow news day. We will see if FDU can do the unthinkable and knock off Purdue. I wouldn't bet. I would bet on it, but not the money that I need. I wouldn't bet
them to cover. All I need them to do is beat the spread, and then I get to the way my little game thing. I get to take Purdue. If Purdue wins by 10, they're mine.
We're gonna talk about spreads because North Kentucky last night made a real good run at Houston. That was a 16 versus a 1 seed. At one point, I was getting excited. I'm watching it last night, and I'm thinking we're gonna have another version of the Virginia debacle, and a 1 seed would lose. North Kentucky ended, and I'm gonna be very honest with you. I didn't realize there was a Northern Kentucky. I didn't realize when you hear a school name and you didn't realize there was that school, that's when you know you're in uncharted territory. But as a 16 seed, they played very well. In the end, they took some questionable shots. Houston ends up advancing. And the people who really won are the ones who both bet the over, because North Kentucky played well enough that the over was the winner there, and those who bet the spread. You also had a team that is in Evanston, Illinois. Go ahead. I give you
a directional school.
A what?
Also a directional school.
A directional school.
That used to be the joke. So you're gonna end up at a directional school.
You're gonna end up at a directional school.
My
I like
son
that.
ended up at a directional school, Northwestern.
And tell us about Northwestern's run.
So this is a story about perseverance. Do you have some slow music in the background you can play? It's a story about perseverance, because they were talking about firing Collins. Yep. They were talking about getting rid of him. This is it.
Yeah,
this is his last year. Since my son's moved on, I've gotten on some of these chat rooms, these Northwestern chat rooms, and every day it's either kill Collins or Fitzgerald. They're going crazy. I can't even put my name out there because the name recognition would be too bad. They want to kill him. But now they're a contract extension. This man, second time, he lost his two best players. One of them they have to giggle. Nance went to North Carolina. They went first team ever to go from a 1 seed to not make the tournament. So Nance is at the house watching with popcorn. Then another one of his players, his other best player, went to Duke. Don't know his name. Didn't do my research. He went to Duke. So now they came back and they were second seed in the Big Ten tournament. They beat Purdue when they were unbeaten, the number 1 seed at home, biggest winning program history.
Yep.
Now they got to the tournament. They made it a little too exciting for us Northwestern fans, a little too exciting against Boise State, but they came out on top. That's all we could do. Let's go.
I will say in day one, if I had to say a winner, now each team has its own concept of being a winner, and we're going to get to another game, but the Big Ten, because when I watched last night and I see Penn State beat the brakes off of Texas A&M, they were up by 20 basically the whole game.
I knew there was 2 Texas A&Ms, by the way. There's another Texas A&M in the tournament.
It is, but it's a A&M something else. So it's a directional school, as you said.
Who knew?
A&M, and then you got a bunch of letters.
Corpus Christi.
But when you got, at least I say, if you got when you got so many letters,
I know your T-shirt wraps around the back.
You
got to lift your arm up.
Right.
I go to Texas A&M.
When the acronym has a bunch of letters in it,
come on, baby. TAMU-CC,
whatever that is. But the Big Ten, I think, made out like a bandit on day one, where Northwestern,
Illinois lost. Who else lost? Iowa lost.
Did Iowa lose? Oh, Iowa did lose in a tough one. That's the last time that kid's gonna play college basketball. Probably Iowa's superstar. He had a good game, but Iowa did come up short.
God bless.
But I didn't think Penn State was gonna do what they did against Texas A&M, and they beat the brakes off.
They beat their face.
They beat their face. Up by 20 basically the entire game. But there are hidden victories.
They were getting 3. They were getting 3.
They were getting 3. Getting 3, and was up by 20 the entire game, and that was a lower seed, Penn State being the 10 seed over the 7 seed Texas A&M. So technically, an upset. No one, I don't think, was surprised by that, because Penn State had been playing well. If you look down the stretch, how many big games that they had won, it's just a great time, man. I told my son on the way home, I was like, "This is the best time of the year." There's nothing that matches March Madness when it comes to pure live sports.
Ball Hog Sports Talk Show, because I appreciate those of you who are watching and missing this the show that I happen to be peeking at every once in a while when I look down to see if anything good happens that wants to be mentioned.
Fair. Other than the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide, nothing in live sports compares to March Madness. And I hate to admit that, because but there's something electric about it. This is probably, and I think that there's research that supports it, the least productive, in terms of 2-day sequence, the least productive days in all corporate America, because everybody's peeking at a computer screen. Everybody's taking that uber long lunch, the liquid lunch. Everybody is checking their bracket Ain't nobody thinking about them spreadsheets you talking about. Jerome, get out of here. Ain't nobody worried about them damn spreadsheets. We watching basketball. And I think it's just a purity to it. I asked the audience this as you guys continue to comment, as we so greatly appreciate. How do you pick your brackets? Because if only 0.003% of all brackets are still perfect, that means we are all in the same boat. We all stink at picking these doggone brackets. How do you pick your brackets? When they put those seeds there, I think they do that intentionally to distract you. I think they do that intentionally to get you to fall for the rope-a-dope. And like everybody does, when we see, for example, Penn State being a 10 seed, and we see Texas A&M being a 7 seed, I think just human nature. It's behavioral science, behavioral finance, if you will, to pick the higher seed. If you are one of the 0.003% of people that have a perfect bracket, or you just someone that wants to represent yourself as an expert, let me know how you pick your bracket. Because it has been shown, people that just pick it based on colors, those who just pick it based on mascots, those who pick it on something arbitrary are the ones that normally do best. It's guessing. But if somebody can tell me different, please. How did you pick your bracket, Big Flow Show?
I run the roster, and I look for Haitian names. Listen,
a regression.
I look through it, and I look for Haitian names. And if I have a Haitian sounding name on the team, then I pick you because you got a better chance to win, and that's undefeated.
Is there a Haitian name minimum? Do you need a 2 Haitian minimum?
I just need to be able to say your name with a French accent. That's how my parents. That's my parents. My dad, who's hopefully listening to the show, that's how he figures it out. He'll tell you if he can say the name with the French accent, they're Haitian.
They're Haitian. I love it.
My dad still to this day thinks Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is Haitian because he can say Lou Alcindor with the French accent. He'll tell you. He'll tell you.
He's Haitian. He's Haitian. Even if he don't tell you he Haitian, he don't even know it. You could be like, nah, his family don't know he Haitian, but he Haitian.
And then he'll tell you someone who he used to eat food with back in Haiti, in the home country, that they had a cousin that they said it's their last name the same way, so he's Haitian. That's all I need to know. That's my only criteria. I asked my dad to say the whole roster when he reads one. The one that he stops and gives an accent on, they're gonna win.
They're gonna win. My man Glass Bart, appreciate your contribution. He's talking about NIL money, Trump's point shaving now. Any theories on point shaving are left for the movies and are now friends of the program. Shot to Nick Nolte and Blue Chips. I like that reference. Shout out to you. Hey, Glass Bart. Hey, it's where sports, business, and entertainment collide. That's a great reference right there. Blue Chips reference. Does NIL money make it possible because the mid-majors have done a good job of dominating Virginia. Some of the smaller schools have done a good job of making a good effort at it, a la Northern Kentucky last night. But does NIL money make it a little more fair? Is parity a representation or a reflection of NIL money? Because in addition, we saw Howard University last night. Now, they were down big, but they never quit. They were down big and ultimately lost, but they won winners out of losers in this Green March Sadness before the tears could dry. First time ever making it to March Madness. I think that's a fact. Historically Black college and university, Howard University maybe being the best and brightest of all HBCUs. I don't have a dog in the fight, but you look at their endowment, you look at their success rate in terms of their alum. The Bison are some bad mother shut your mouths when it comes to HBCUs. They weren't as bad when it came to showing up on the first day of March Madness. So they lose, as everyone expected, as a 16 seed. But they won by losing because before the tears could dry, one of their most prominent, if not the most prominent alum, our United States of America Vice President Kamala Harris, makes a surprise visit to their locker room. But it reminds me, too, because she talked about in that surprise visit to the locker room, she said, hey, when I was on campus, we were just happy that we had a basketball game. Now they have developed a program such that they are in the field of 64, 60, whatever it is, round up, whatever it is, because you got the play-ins, whatever the number is now, 69, whatever it is. That's the number I want to use. Whatever the number is.
It was Jameson.
speaking of, whatever the number is, Howard was in that number. They were marching, and their most esteemed alum paid a surprise visit. Now, I know that they had a 5-star recruit.
Maker.
Maker. Yep, go, and it didn't work out. But it started the conversation about some of these high-profile NIL rich type athletes making the plunge to go to HBCU. We know Mikey Williams is still considering it. We've heard Bronny James might be considering it. Seeing Howard make it to March Madness, it didn't work out for Maker. He was injured a lot, and that team didn't go to March Madness. But does this open the door for that narrative? Glassbart talked about NIL. Does Howard University, the Bison, does this open the door for other athletes making that decision? Because whatever you do not necessarily get by way of resources on campus, you can because they're third-party payers. NIL deals are third-party payers. What you don't get by way of exposure, let's be honest, a lot of schools, even the ACC schools, Notre Dame didn't play on national television a lot this year because they weren't a good team. There are a lot of teams that don't play on national television, but when all eyes are watching in March, if you are the type of team that advances regularly because of your conference championship to March Madness, you have the spotlight. Is this the moment that we look back on and say, yeah, Mikey Williams, you can go to Howard or other HBCUs? What do you think?
I think that when you look at football and basketball and you compare them when it comes to NIL things, it's hard to make a sustainable dent. Like everyone's talking about football right now. These things aren't sustainable. Guys getting $250,000 a year, $300,000 a year. It's not sustainable. People are throwing money at it. And when you get things like happened to Texas A&M, it's in football where all these people get in trouble and do some different things like that. It's going to be more difficult for them to sustain that. But basketball, when you got a lot of the best of them are one and done anyway. If you can get a sponsor, if you have a major product behind you, and you can just say, look, we're doing a 2 or 3 year project. We need you guys to back us up. We're going to have your product everywhere. We're putting together a championship team. Just got to go get 3-4 guys. You can pay a person not to come out. Probably not a guy that would be a lottery pick, but some of these guys that are coming out that shouldn't have. They end up in Europe. They probably should have stayed. You could probably squeeze another year out of some of these guys. You only got to pay 5-6 kids some decent amount of money. You could do it. I think from the HBCU, like Howard, if you could go like to a P. Diddy or something like that, or some entertainer and say, listen, throw some money together. We're going to put a lot behind this. We're going to some marketing thing. We're going to go. We could put merchandise. We could put concert. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to go do, you could do it. I don't know the prominent graduates other than the vice president from Howard, like businessmen. I'm sure there's plenty. I just don't have the name on the top of my head.
Absolutely.
But if you were to go to someone, you could do this as a short-term project, a short-term win, and any school could make a dent when it comes down to the NCAA tournament because you don't need as many players, so you don't need as much money.
Case in point, Andrew Funk, a name that nobody knew before last night. You didn't know no Andrew Funk. If somebody said, hey, man, who's Andrew Funk? You're going to have fun playing around with his last name.
I thought that was an insult. I was just saying he's funky. Andrew's funky.
You're going to have fun talking about his last name. But because when the lights were brightest, when the stage was absolutely most prominent, on day one of the NCAA tournament, Andrew Funk for Penn State goes out and shoots the lights out. Andrew Funk, as of today, is a household name. And if you can do that and have an opportunity to perform in that situation, why not go to a school where you get a great education? Why not go to a school where you have an amazing alumni base? Howard University, maybe you would argue that Spelman is just as, if not more successful in terms of HBCUs. You look at their graduation rate. You look at what their graduates go on to do. You look at the pride of Spelman, right? Because actually I think Kamala went to Spelman. I don't know why she, my point being, maybe she went to law school in Howard. I should know about our VP. There's a Spelman connection there too. But my point being is that all you need is that 30 seconds. All you need is that one big shot. All you need is the moment. And a guy like Andrew Funk from Penn State, a guy like fill in the blank with any school that's a mid-major, you can captivate the entire country and be a household name with a shot.
One shot.
With one shot. And so we'll see, man. I think this is going to lead to more people making that decision. I hope that indeed Howard's push to make it to March Madness leads to more guys making that decision. Another guy. Go ahead. Sorry.
Where are we with the women's tournament? I know we hadn't really discussing that.
I think we're in the same thing. They started. The women's tournament started. Games happened a little earlier today. I don't know who won any of the games, but I should.
It started today.
Yeah, there were games earlier today. Notre Dame announced that Olivia Miles is out for the season, which is going to cramp Notre Dame's chances of winning. So I probably won't be watching the women's tournament as much as I would have had Olivia Miles, who's also a New Jersey person. She's from Jersey. Had she been playing, but the women's tournament, we're going to make sure we give the women's tournament is just due. The women's tournament, so the championship is normally the day after the men's championship.
Yeah.
But I don't see how anybody beats South Carolina. Dawn Staley and that team finishing the season, regular season, undefeated. That's my challenge with the women's tournament is that when you have a team that's dominant, they really dominate. Gino Auriemma and UConn did it for an entire generation, so it seems. And now Dawn Staley and her high-profile athletes, because she brings in the best recruits, but also she's got an amazing system. She runs a good system. It's tough when you almost know the outcome. And that's the challenge with the women's game is that whoever is on top is normally comfortably on top. Whereas on the men's side, you never know, which makes it a little more fun to watch, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see. Hopefully Notre Dame can pull a rabbit out their hat because that means that I'll be dialed in even more intently. But there is another name, a particular somebody who made a name, became household throughout the season. Let's be fair, because of all the highlights, all the productivity when he was in college. But the NCAA tournament took it over the top because a guy by the name of Jah Morant from Murray State, in round one, they are the underdog, goes on and they beat Marquette. And that was sort of when the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed with the legend of Jah. That Jah Morant,
he would go on to become a shooter.
I see what you did there. I don't know if he's a shooter, but he's sure gonna flash it. He's flashy, right? And when he's sporting his drip normally includes not the likes of some Gucci and Louis. His drip includes Smith & Wesson. And so that drip has got him.
How you gonna judge my drip? You can't judge. I don't judge your drip. You don't judge my drip.
His drip includes Smith & Wesson. And now it has him on an apology tour. He does the interview with Jalen Rose. And so just because we got to do it, man. And I know he ain't done nothing necessarily illegal. Well, we don't know that. I think the investigation is still ongoing, whether or not it was illegal.
Not so fast, Kimosabi.
You can't brandish firearms, right? Not every state is consistent.
Not really supposed to bring them on the flight, the game, the team flight. Not really supposed to do that.
Not supposed to do that. But he has now been suspended for 8 games for that catch-all phrase, conduct detrimental, whatever that damn phrase is. He's not going to be around for a while.
I'm gonna say this though. You made it when a gun is involved and you only get 8 games.
You only get 8 games. That's when you know you made it.
Gilbert Arenas never played again.
Never played. Never. Well,
never.
He was suspended indefinitely initially.
And we still waiting on that.
We're still waiting, so we don't know if he's gonna get another opportunity. But we do know Jah Morant will get another opportunity. He's suspended for 8 games. And I will say that whether it be Nike, whether it be his agent, whether it be the Grizzlies, whether it be the NBA, someone is encouraging him to take steps to make amends. So why don't we get to that? I want to share this interview that he did with Jalen Rose. And before I share it, we'll just say that, hopefully all the copyright rules have been met. When I share this, I think the designation is it's an ESPN interview. I'm saying Jalen Rose did the interview. We're just sharing it. I got it from the big old bad YouTube. So whoever the powers are that be, the lawyers that sit around and wonder about whether or not Ball Hog Sports Talk is going to violate copyright laws, I hope that we are in compliance.
If not, call me.
Call me. Just holler at your boy.
We'll do your show. You do. Hey, listen. We'll let your show. You put our show. We'll let you use any of our content on your show on the ESPN show.
You ain't even got to ask. Let's get into this, man, because I do want to share the interview. So hold on. Let me make sure I get to it. Again, y'all bear with me whenever I'm trying to produce and not only produce, but produce that good content. Sometimes it gets a little leery. Gets a little iffy. So hold on. Here we go. Y'all ready? And action. Check out the interview and we'll comment as needed.
Rose earlier today. Their conversation is new here on SportsCenter.
You're 23 years old. You're a superstar. You're one of the faces of the NBA. What has the last 10 or 11 days been like for you, and how are you doing?
Me personally, I feel mentally good that I haven't, been in, many years. I'm in a space where I'm, very comfortable. I was constantly, talking to therapists. I've been doing, Reiki treatment. I've been doing anxiety breathing, different stuff to, help me manage that and, release, all that stuff from my body.
When did you say, I'm going to do this and it's necessary?
After I made a, terrible mistake, being inside a club and, went live, I put myself in, a bad position. And also it's, my daughter. There's times where she even tell me if she's, had a bad day. And I feel like, if she can tell me that, then, I can be able to go and talk to somebody as well.
You at the spot, Shotgun Willie's. You are holding a gun. And we both know how dangerous that can be. Whose gun were you holding?
Well, the gun wasn't mine. It's not who I am. I don't condone any type of violence, but I take full responsibility for my actions. Made a bad mistake, and I can see the image that I painted over myself with my recent mistakes. But in the future, I'm gonna show everybody who Jah really is, what I'm about, and change this narrative.
All right. We gotta hop in, man. I don't know how to start other than to start. This is the Green March Sadness episode of the Ball Hog Sport Talk. So did you sense, and I'm asking our audience members like we always do, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a folks, tag anybody please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and the podcast. But I asked you first, Big Flo Show, did you sense sadness in that interview?
To me, and it's funny because I don't know if it was my internet or it froze a couple times. I don't know. Did you have it freeze a couple times while you were playing it? Or maybe
I didn't. It might be my internet. And if so,
okay.
Sorry.
But it's funny because when I watched the first time, and I never made it to the point where he said it wasn't his gun. I never got to that part. First of all, I love Jalen Rose, but you can't throw soft. You can't do softball interviews with somebody when they make mistakes like that. That was too much. That's a little bit like, come on, man. Dig in him a little. Act like you were there to get him. But he's like, oh, by the way, whose gun was it? No questions, not my gun. Okay, just off to the next one. Well, I digress. It looked like he was fighting a smile most of the thing. He's doing this thing. He was smiling. It was
a smirk. It wasn't a smile. It was just
a smirk going on the whole time. And he had all his buzzwords. Like, man, you had to say you don't condone violence. Mm-hmm. You had to say this isn't who you are.
Check.
Mention your daughter.
Check.
Mention therapy.
Check.
You being treated. So you telling me the fact that you pulled out this gun and lied is because you have anxiety issues?
No, he said Reiki. He said I had to look it up. Reiki treatment, and he's going through breathing exercises. When he said that, I lost it.
So okay.
Reiki treatment and breathing exercises because you pulled out a gun in a strip club and had $50,000 worth of ones. Now I think Shotgun Willie's, and that's just too rich of irony that you pull out a gun and post it on live at a place called Shotgun Willie's.
Shotgun Willie's.
Shotgun Willie's. I think
Shotgun
Willie's was wrong.
Willie's. Who knew you weren't allowed to bring out your strap at Shotgun Willie's?
The winner here in this Green March Sadness episode, the winner in this particular March Madness moment is Shotgun Willie's. Not only have they been mentioned, not only did they publish this video and this still shot, not only did they get paid for that footage by TMZ, but now they got a mention on ESPN in the interview that everybody's going to watch. They got a mention by Jalen Rose by name Shotgun Willie's. They win.
That's the script club?
It's no, I think the official term is
Gentlemen.
adult entertainment, exotic dancing. Don't you trying to diminish it. Don't call it no script club.
A script club. So here's the thing. They won because they should be blacklisted. There's a story within the story. Let's say this. He went live, but when they released that tape of the extracurricular activities that happened in the background, there has to be some sort of attorney-client privilege in the champagne room. They could take the videos and release the videos now. They're doing that. That's what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Hey, no one go to Shotgun Willie's, man.
Nothing's sacred. And someone did say that. I don't remember Stephen A. Smith or one of the talking heads that has a platform said no other entertainment should ever entertain going there because there is a sense of privacy that you expect walking into an establishment.
Especially when you got the whole room in there. I didn't know y'all was leaking tapes. That we leaking tapes now?
That's why it's so dark. Allegedly. I'm not saying nothing about me going or not going. I researched it last night. And
I've never been.
You've never been. You've never been to Shotgun Willie's.
Never been. I don't know why you had to get specific, but I've never been. So the thing is, to put it out there like that and to put the man out there and his business out there, I have to speak publicly. I don't want them to get any credit for Shotgun Willie's. I want you to boycott Shotgun Willie's. I'm leading the boycott.
Yeah.
I'm leading the boycott. I'm never going to go there. I wouldn't have ever been there anyway, but I'm definitely not going now.
Yeah.
But that being said, Jah Morant, I don't know, man. I don't know. He doesn't care. 8 days. You know how he's laughing. He's like, I got 8 days. I already served 5 of them, and I get my whole check. That's what his face looked like. I get my whole check.
Hater.
You know, he wrote that off as load management.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's just interesting because Memphis is in the midst of being one of those teams in the West that you think could actually do it. They've got a young team, but a team that's very talented, a team that has shooters, a team that plays good defense, a team that seems like a brotherhood, and now a team that unfortunately is under this dark cloud of distraction because of their superstars' behavior. So he talked about the breathing. He talked about being in treatment. And then he did the thing that anybody who's really contrite should never do. He talked about himself in the third person. Jah lives. Whenever Jah says Jah, when talking about Jah, that is third person.
His name is Clarence.
Clarence
Two good parents.
Two good parents. He went to private school. But now he's flashing what they call it, the blick. Flick, what do they call it? What the kids call it?
The blick, I think.
The blick.
Right?
He flashing the blick. So I don't know if this is going to derail the Grizzlies from being what I would have thought was one of the favorites to at least make a push. But did you sense whether or not he was contrite? And I asked that same question to the audience members. Did he seem contrite? Did you?
Absolutely not.
Not whatsoever.
Not whatsoever. 8 days suspension. Go out there. Look, get 8 days. Go out there. Tell the people that you're sorry. Tell them you're not going to do it. Mention your daughter. Mention therapy. Mention this, anxiety, whatever. I'm surprised he didn't mention bullying. He only lists one buzzword. I've been bullied by strippers in the past. They were bullying me for my money. Well, come on, man. Come on.
Look, he was in the conversation. That's all I'm going to say. At one point, he was in the conversation for the MVP race, averaging 27.1 points per game. 6 rebounds per game, 8 assists per game. He's shooting about 56% from the field, and he is a undeniable superstar. And the shooting 56% from the field should have been the only shooting that we were talking about. To have him on a platform with Jalen Rose doing that interview, talking about he don't condone guns while flashing, he volunteered that. Dear Generation Z, if you are out at any establishment, whether it be Shotgun Willie's or any other establishment, if you have the inclination, well, I would assume on the heels of consuming some libations, to pull out your blicky.
Your
the
friends.
last thing that
your
you
friend's
should do.
blicky.
Your friend's blicky. Yeah, my bad. Not his. Ain't his. That wasn't his blicky.
It wasn't mine.
My blicky.
I'm
Wasn't me.
not a snitch, but it wasn't mine. I'm not here to tell you anything. They got all the tapes. Ask Shotgun Willis who blicky it was. They have all the tapes.
They got all the tape. They got all the tape.
They got all the evidence.
But if you find yourself in this unenviable position of being in the middle of Shotgun Willies and being in the middle of entertainment and getting this thought that crosses your mind, and the thought bubble says, we should go live. I beg you to listen to the advice, the consultation that is provided to you free by way of the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
It should be something when you go out. You know how you have the do not disturb on your phone, like you're not taking anything. It should be when you know you're drinking, like a don't go live, but don't.
I think they have some function like this, but we can't get out of the way, man. That's how we're gonna take that public and make a whole bunch of money and invest in the show. So we can't tell everybody that. But whatever function they do have, my man Jah Morant should have used it.
He should have used it.
I hate to see it. And in terms of Green March Sadness episode, to me, there's a level of sadness that comes with this because he has become sort of the new age Generation Z cultural icon. The way he wears his uniform, the way he wears his hair, the way he is explosive and attacks the basket. There's an entire generation of young basketball players and people that just are fans of the game that subscribe to the cultural icon that Ja Morant has become. And I'm fearful that with that bad boy reputation and now sort of the affirmation with his own volunteering publicly of a live video of him flashing the blicky. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. Flashing the blick. I fear that people are going to go down this dark path, and I hope Ja Morant can absolutely be contrite, absolutely appreciate this moment where he is in his life. I know people have challenged whether or not T. Morant should be a dad or a friend, and that's not my position because being a dad there is no book to that. It's tough to figure out how to be a dad, let alone be a dad of a megastar. And he's old enough to make his own decisions. He's old enough to be responsible for his own decisions. But I just hope that he is contrite in the sense that he understands just how important he is to young people, just how much of a role model he is, just how unique this position is that he is in his life. Kyrie and Nike parted ways, and Nike was good to part ways with Kyrie. Let's be honest, not because of the backlash publicly of people calling him anti-Semitic, because I think they could have ate that and just tried to put him in the back burner for a little while. They were willing to move on because
Adidas did that.
Ja Morant. Yeah, look at Adidas. Adidas is right back. And to be honest, Kanye's comments and sentiments were way more anti-Semitic than Kyrie. Kyrie just posted something on Twitter. Was it right? Hell no. He should have explained it, gave it a little more context, and he took every brunt of the backlash. But Nike is willing to move on from Kyrie because of Ja Morant. That same Ja Morant volunteers a video of him posted or flashing the blicky. I just hope, man, because at 23, let's be honest, they say youth is wasted on the young. 23, it's tough to appreciate just how important you are to so many different people and to the culture and to opportunities for kids that are in AAU basketball now. Their opportunities are going to be reflective of how you take advantage of your opportunities. So I hope, for the good of the order, that Ja Morant is truly contrite. I'll give you last word on it before we move on.
You know, it's scary. and
But
it's-
before you, I'm
it's
sorry,
dysfunctional
before you
stuff.
give last word, make sure you do a breathing exercise and some Reiki treatment so you can say, clear mind, clear
Okay,
your
I'm good.
mind, clear your mind,
So,
and talk
I
about
don't know.
yourself in the
I
third
think
person, please.
first and foremost, I had to say, Ja probably should talk to Jay Crit. I think that's better advice. You see that gun's so small, I could have just said it was a lighter, and we could have just ended the interview.
Fair. Wasn't me, and it was a
Wasn't
lighter.
me.
I like that.
Wasn't me. He could have bought the tapes from the Shotgun Harry's. What's it called again?
Shotgun Willies.
The Lizard Lounge. Shotgun Willie. So I think I don't know. I don't like it. I think he should have got more games. I think it's a bad message, but I think it just shows us what we've been saying in professional sports. If you offend another group, they'll be tough on you. But if you offend your own group, or you offend anything, whatever, you self-deprecate or you beat your girl up, as long as she looks like you, I feel like professional sports doesn't give a damn. And it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. But I think it's bad. Not 8 days, not 8 games. Come on, man. 9 games, 8 games for that. You guys send a little bit of message to him, and you guys send a little bit more message to the league, because it's detrimental to the image of the league, but they don't care. Because you know what? Nike's gonna still have him out there. They're gonna buy his shoes. Nobody cares. He might come out with an album. Where's Dame at? Huh? Where's Dame Doll at? They might come out with an album.
He's coming out with the album. I didn't expect you to drop a jewel there, but you did. And
Don't care.
the reality, not that I didn't expect you always drop jewels, but
I know what you mean.
the
You didn't expect
the
that particular jewel.
Yeah, the depth of the jewel, meaning the offense that you commit and how offensive it is really contingent upon the victim or the person on the other side. That's a sad commentary, but seems to be true. Good luck to Jah Morant. I hope he understands the position that he's in and how the entire world is watching. Somebody else that the entire world is watching seems to be watching every offseason. Somebody else that in terms of darkness, this particular person goes in dark rooms and makes decisions that impacts not one but two franchises and really the entire NFL. And Rodgers, yet again, goes into the offseason contemplating retirement. Aaron Rodgers, yet again, has the Green Bay Packers waiting to see what his decision is. Aaron Rodgers, yet again, has the entire sports world on the edge of our seat trying to figure out what he's doing now. But Aaron Rodgers did it this time a little bit different. He did it in a dark room with sage burning or something burning. He from Cal. It's legal. But he did it, and yet we fall for it again. Hook, line, and sinker. Everybody wants to know what Aaron Rodgers is doing. And Aaron Rodgers outdid himself this time. And all his divadom, because that man is a diva. He outdid himself in divadom this time and had the New York Jets on the clock. They sent everybody. They sent not only the owner and the GM, they sent their janitorial staff to make sure that they showed him just how welcome he was. They sent everybody. And what does he do? He comes out the dark room for just a minute and announces on the Pat McAfee show that he intends to sign with the New York Jets. There have been rumors out there that his intention was contingent upon them signing some players. So he has them on edge and says, I need Odell Beckham. I need Alan Lazard. I need Randall Cobb. I need Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes Lewis was 137 years old the last time he caught a pass. But yet, Aaron Rodgers and all his divadom makes these contingent signees a part of the conversation. And those Jets, those same Jets that ain't won nothing since I don't know when, they acquiesced. I think one of the contingent players have already been signed, Alan Lazard. I think others are being interviewed and considered as we speak. Joe Namath made sure he's a part of the situation and phoned the Jets and said that he is fine with them unretiring his retired number 12 in order to get their quarterback. I ask you, because I know as a Chicago Bears fan, you're happy to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, so you ain't got to compete against him not once but twice. You put in on that.
Some of that Lazard money coming from me.
He's coming
Get
from
him
you.
about it.
Is he worth it? And I ask our audience that.
Absolutely.
Is Aaron Rodgers worth it? Because it seems to the point, we get to the point where it's like, all right, man, come on, bro. A dark room, and you've announced that you're in a dark room. You need you darkness.
Licking peyote buttons. No, to me,
is he worth it?
When I said the other week, I was like, I think it's worth the shot to try and take and see whatever, because you think that maybe whatever was going on with him was personal between Green Bay and him. Sometimes the relationship that you have, some of the baggage that you have is, developed over time. There's some things that Green Bay did that made Aaron act the way he acted. They didn't like that they drafted the quarterback. He didn't like that they didn't beef up his receivers. He didn't like that he wasn't involved in some of the front office decisions. Okay.
Right.
But what he did just to try to get over here to the Jets is just proof to me that, it's you. It was you. A list of demands. I'll come sign with you, but you need to go get me these players. I'm not coming. You already starting. You haven't got there yet. The last quarterback was sending pictures of his genitals to everybody that came from Green Bay. Maybe it's how they don't. Maybe they don't transition well out of Green Bay. Maybe that's the situation. Some
Doesn't it feel like deja vu?
Some pro teams may not make good NFL players. I don't know what is going on. I would run. I would have ran. I would have ran before I got all those players. He got the shopping list, because if he comes one short, then what happens?
It felt like deja vu. Brett Favre had the same controversial exit from Green Bay, ended up in New York playing for the Jets, at least for that one season. It felt like deja vu. As a Cleveland Browns fan, I remember cringing at the thought that we were considering using our first-round draft pick to draft Baker Mayfield. And what did? We outdid ourselves, having 2 picks in the top 5 or 2 picks in the top 10. We ended up
him twice.
we picked him with the number 1 pick. The man would have been there for the 2nd pick. But anyway, the reason I cringed is because it felt like deja vu. A few years before that, we had spent a first-round draft pick on Johnny Manziel, an undersized, very moxie, that's the word they use when they don't want to say asshole, moxie quarterback that, yes, he won on the collegiate level, but there were some question marks as to whether or not he was big enough, whether or not he was cerebral enough, whether or not he was selfless enough to win at the NFL, and we went and drafted him again. It felt like deja vu. Same thing here. For the New York Jets faithful, who, like me, is a Cleveland Browns fan, like you as a Chicago Bears fan, we've been through some dog days, man. We've been through some challenges. For you, New York Jets fans, those of you who are my coworkers, those of you who are my neighbors, those of you who are people that I see in respective neighborhoods in New Jersey, wearing those green and white colors, for you, for your sake, I hope it works out. But if I'm a betting man, this seems like a disaster waiting to happen. And yet, there are certain quarterbacks that demand that type of attention every single offseason. So we'll see if it works out. Let's end on this, man, because that is a free agent conversation. Let's end with free agency. NFL free agency is hot and heavy. Your Chicago Bears have made some moves. I'll let you gloat whether or not you believe that these moves were the moves necessary to finally make you guys relevant. To finally make you guys a successful team in the NFC North. Do you feel as though you have the pieces now to get back to the old version of the Bears?
Well, first of all, I'm not just going to allow you to sit there and say that we're irrelevant and just keep going like nothing happened. So
I said sorry. It was a slip of a word. Sorry, wrong word.
Slippery. Well, I think a couple good things. One, get Aaron up out of here, right?
Aaron no longer NFC North
guy.
He's gone.
So he's gone. So now I can remember where the North, not the East, not the West. I can remember who we are, the NFC North. I think they made some good moves on defense. I like that they wouldn't got a little short-term solution with the running back, Deontay Freeman, or Donta, as you used to call him. Donta.
Man, that man named Dante, man. You just because he spelled it different. Deontay. D apostrophe Ante. I think it's Dante.
All right, listen. He thinks it's Dante. I think it's Deontay. I want y'all to vote at home. What you think D apostrophe ONTA is? Because Dante is DANTE. I don't give a damn. And shame on the hospital if she was calling him Baby Dante and nobody tapped her on the damn shoulder and said,
I got news for you, man. They should have spanked her hand.
You're doing too much. You're doing too much, right? Somebody sometimes they'll let you know. That's how you spell Dante. But I think we got some short up the defense. We passed on some left tackles, which I think looks like we're going to get. Rumors are saying Parrish. I would love for them to get Skronsky out of Northwestern. He's the highest rated offensive lineman in the last 3 years coming out of college. Perfect for what they want to do. They said they didn't get the guy. They didn't get Orlando Brown, because he wasn't mobile enough. Skronsky's very mobile, but Parrish is, also a good left tackle. But it looks like we're doing the right thing. What I don't want them to do is Bears fashion. Now this is a new guy, so I'm not gonna give it to them. The Bears love to get free agents and then first round pick, sign the same dude, sign the same position.
Right.
You could do that later. We get depth later, but let's go ahead and get the needs. We have lots of them. And I don't know. I'm happy with what they're doing so far.
Yeah, they got that. They got rid of that pick. Got rid of the pick. They traded the pick. They got what some would consider. They got what some would consider a wide receiver one in that trade. They're still high enough to get the players that they want, and so shout out to them, man. And I have to agree with Jay Crit. Again, we love when our audience members weigh in, but I give an A. If I'm grading the Chicago Bears, they get an A in what they've done so far in free agency. They get an A in making sure that they took full advantage of having the number one pick, but already having their quarterback on their roster, quarterback of the foreseeable future. So they do get an A. Other notable things in free agency before we get out of here for the day. The New York Giants, they got Darren Waller. New York Giants, I guess that Danielson, I guess that's their guy. So the New York market for football, the Giants and the Jets should be a good opportunity. When New York market football is good, it normally, for me at least, because a lot of my coworkers, neighbors, and friends are, they are either Jets, Giant, diehard. Makes for a little more of an interesting season. People got a smile on their face. It don't feel just, because New Yorkers, when their teams are terrible, and unfortunately, I got to say it, Giants, Jets, and Knicks have been terrible for a while. They're not good being disgruntled. They're just not good. New Yorkers, New Jersey, people is just
angry on good days. So angry
just, yo, son, yo, B. It's just not a good So I hope that this means good things, good outlook. Miami got Jalen Ramsey in free agency. I thought that was a good move for them. Ezekiel Elliott got cut by the Dallas Cowboys. And it just shows you that the diminishing value of that position, running back position, continues. Derrick Henry's future is uncertain, despite being an MVP candidate any year that he can stay healthy.
He would be great in Chicago, big man like that.
Man, it's too cold to be running. He need to go somewhere.
Be a guy like that. We put him in Chicago. We ever want to read option, throw the ball. Man, look, come on.
I feel like when you got that many muscles, you got to go somewhere warm so they stay warm all the time. He got muscles on top of muscles. The man looked like a defensive tackle running the ball. So, but free agency is off to a great start. So it should be a good season, man. NFL, while it is on the back page of sports right now, while March Madness takes over. Some interesting moves being made. I don't understand the whole concept of that 2-day legal tampering. Like, tampering by definition should be illegal, but you got a legal tampering. But the NFL continues to confuse us all with their craziness. But I think free agency is off to a good start. I'll give you final word as the Ball Hawk Sports Talk Spotlight moment. Anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here for the day?
No, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy this great time of year. I know we're starting to look spring-like. I would say that I'm gonna fall short of calling it spring like because it's still 30 degrees, but it's starting to look like spring. Start planning your next barbecue, get some vacations, enjoy life, watch this basketball. On the other side of this basketball is gonna be great weather. And that's all I got to say.
In this episode of Green March Sadness, make sure that you appreciate March also brings in the green of spring. All of that white stuff on the ground is going to dissipate, and we will start appreciating the foliage and the greenery of spring. Make sure that you enjoy March Madness. Make sure you enjoy the Ball Hog Sports Talk. If you didn't hear it live, make sure you listen to the podcast. Make sure you enjoy the opportunity to support us by simply, won't cost you anything. All you got to do is like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anybody you know, and please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and the podcast. The Big Flow Show came to you today from the Middle Coast. I am your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. The Ball, a.k.a. The Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration, a.k.a. Breezy. This has been the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. A few businessmen getting together to discuss sports in an entertaining way. We only do it one way. That's rough, rugged, and raw. Thank you for listening to the business of sports in an entertaining fashion. We'll see you soon. Make sure that you keep on tuning in. We'll be back next Friday. And with that, we is out. Peace.